watching the second episode of season 3 of the Foundation series from Apple. I'm at 6 minutes 22. I want to say I was very disappointed in the first episode introduction of the mule in that way. I think they're missing the point, and I think there's signs that they're trying to rush through the series. And again, taking on such a big responsibility, not just of telling Isaac Asimov's original story, but again of them missing the point of how they could have used that story to kind of help us in modern times in a way as to make us realize things that would have maybe put some mitigation ventures, on the platform of things to do for our species. And unfortunately, rich people miss everything. Sometimes, you get screwed. Like I was thinking, hey, I've been only downloading because I don't have internet at home. So what if Apple suddenly says you reach your download limit and you have to watch live on Wi-Fi now or on the internet, and then I would have to try to find a way to get a hold of them and say, well, I kind of subscribe because I don't have internet and I know that I can download. I wish I could download with Netflix. I wasn't able to, and they told me it couldn't be done, maybe because I have Macintosh. So these are signs of capitalism that Apple is missing in the psychohistory of today, right? What our downfall is caused by. Because they would be paranoid. They would think, oh, this person's downloading, maybe sharing with too many people, maybe showing it on a big screen with like an audience that are fans, as if I didn't buy enough books from Isaac Asimov over the years, or spent money on Apple products like this MacBook. So in a way, this is them being paranoid, because mental illness, like capitalism, causes paranoia, that they think they're being screwed when they're not. And then I get screwed, right? So it's an example of things they can't get. So, the mule, a big part of Isaac Asimov's stories were sometimes only kind of in the genre of mystery, but also in his science fiction series involving robots and Foundation, there was mystery. There was definitely mystery with the mule, and they totally skipped that part of the character. And when they introduced him, it seems like you can't enjoy him as a character because he's like super powerful, and he flaunts it, and he's got everything on his side, and it seems like it's like I love Loki in the Marvel movies a lot more than the mule. And so it's the other way around, because Loki, I never really enjoyed him in the comic books. I didn't read a lot of them, but he became better anyways after the movies. And the mule was pretty intense and impressive and patient in the books of Isaac Asimov. But here, they're ruining it. So so Marvel made, let's say, Thor more enjoyable in the sense of humor way. Although I do enjoy the comic books of Marvel. Like I'm reading right now, the God Butcher, when Thor meets or interacts with him in different times of his life, and that storyline's pretty intense. And, they still did a fairly complex interpretation of that character in the movie, even though there was humor and other things. But here, it seems like, Apple's rushing through this because they're not sure all the actors will care enough to be there a long time, or it depends on the ratings. That's kind of sad. If it depends on the ratings, again, you got capitalism screwing up stuff. So I'm only at the beginning of this one. I enjoy the complexity of the stories, and I enjoy that they're making changes to them. But the changes aren't like creating a mystery in us. They're not surprisingly creative with what's different, let's say. So we got beautiful special effects, man. The scenery is really nice. And, there are characters you like just because the actors they chose more than you might have in the book or whatever. And, of course, I'm only at the beginning here, but I do expect to be disappointed like I was, although I enjoyed. I'm disappointed in, how we didn't learn nothing from the Foundation series by Isaac Asimov. That's so long after, we're not going to the next level of paradigms with it. I did say at the during season 2 that it looked like, and I don't even know if it's true, and I don't even know if they were doing it on purpose or if they picked up on it, the creators and writers, is it looked like they were showing us the version, the one version of the one, multiverse version where, it might be that, the Eternals come to be, that are, possibly, very much robotics related, and they kind of arrange for a galaxy where people primates would be the only species intelligent, if you want to say. Although if you look at this far in the future, it's the same old reasons people fight and go to war, so that our species can't come up with a real science fiction that shows that are the writers of them have sentience and sapience to look beyond what is the norm for us. You can say something science fiction, but if it's the same thing that's happening during the rise and fall of the Roman Empire, but in a science fiction way, what's the use making it science fiction? Like, it's sad that they can't consult with people such as myself instead of Robin Asimov. And I'm not sure exactly what she says when she's being consulted, but it would have been nice if it would have been nice if Robert J. Sawyer would have listened to my idea of a sequel for Calculating God, because I don't think, he would have refused, let's say, if he's not already working on a project thinking, I'm not sure if this is my last book or not, so I'm focusing on that. But the thing is there were triggers to him in that stories at a later stage of his life. And again, that's what psychohistory is, by the way. The real science of psychohistory is what, for example, were the life events of Robert J. Sawyer that made him decide to do this topic, avoid this topic, talk to that person a lot, and gravitate the people that are similar to him, let's say in maturity, towards him, and push away the others. So again, the Apple Foundation series, if they had anybody like me that had more access to them, they would have pushed them away. That's the sense I'm getting, right? As our species is devolving based on my theory that explains a lot more what the past is, what the current human condition really is, and of course where that projects in the future based on a variety of human domestication syndromes devolving us, I can tell you that I won't be impressed with this, although I'll still, very much being a fan, enjoy the series.